Hi everyone. Today I'd like to share a 1-year update of my iMow robotic lawnmower from Stihl. It's got a little almost 2 cutting seasons in, and probably one of the neatest things after the first season, I took the docking station out, charged the iMow up fully, and put it in the basement for the winter. So it sat for almost 6 months. And when I pulled it out in spring, I figured I'd have to put it on the charging station and wait for it to charge. And the battery actually was fully charged. So it maintained that full charge all through those whole 6 months of storage. That was really great to see. One other neat thing here, now that I've got almost 2 seasons in, there are some statistics on the device. And I can see that it's gone out to mow about 1,400 times. It's put in about 1,200 mowing hours, and it's so far traveled a distance of 6,554,390 feet. So it's put a lot of miles on. I'll send it out to cut here while we go check things out. But I just thought I'd walk through some of the positives I've been having with it, some of the negatives, some things to be aware of if you're considering a robotic mower. So let's just send it out to cut for a little while we're doing the video. You can check out my first installment video when I first put the iMow in last year, and then I also have a number of other videos to watch as well that just kind of walk through the different features of the iMow. So let's let this guy go out and cut for a while. Our iMow is called Gummy Bear, so Gummy Bear is going to go out and cut. Got the blade kicked in. Just to recap a little bit, definitely check out my other video to see what we got going here. But we're cutting over 1.3 acres of lawn with it. That's way more than it's designed to do. This current model, the RMI 632, is designed for 1 acre. But that was the idea, put it to test and see what it can do. With that in mind, I suggest that you stick to the manufacturer's recommendations for the amount of space that it's designed for. I did run into an issue in spring. Grass was growing really fast for a good month there, and because it's such a large area and more than it's designed for, the iMow wasn't able to keep up. So what happens with that, because the iMow is doing a random cut, it would leave patches of uncut grass because it wasn't hitting that spot often enough within those periods of days of fast grass growing. So definitely stick within the limits for the machine. That'll help ensure that you're going to get the performance you expect out of it. For example, here's a spot right here, just to give you an idea, where it just didn't quite catch that spot yet. I'm out in the country. I don't treat my lawn with any fertilizers or herbicides or pesticides. So I do have a lot of broadleaf growth, a lot of clover, and some other broadleaf weeds as well. And you know what? For that little mower, Gummy Bear handles it pretty good. Also, the terrain, I've been pretty impressed. I was a little nervous of how steep of an area it would cut, but it's been able to handle my mound system here without a problem. Again, a very large area that this little mower is maintaining. So really the pro, I mean, I don't have to cut my grass. It's taken care of for me. The other big benefit I've had is trimming. I've got probably about 50 trees, and I don't have to really trim under any of them. The iMow gets right up in there, bumps into the tree, deflects off, and keeps that maintained. Where here's a patch of grass I still cut with my regular mower, and you can see underneath the cedar tree here, the grass is pretty long. I can't get under the mower, so that I've got to manually trim with my weed trimmer. I've had a few times happen, sometimes maybe once a week or so, with all the trees it's bumping into. Sometimes it just bumps that tree a certain way that causes the sensor on it to think that it's being lifted up, which is a safety feature. So when that happens, the iMow stops, and it'll stay stopped until I go back and restart it to start cutting. So that's been one issue, I would say. Every once in a while, maybe once a week, where it's stopped, I've got to come out here and just restart it and tell it to go. So that, again, the design, how you lay it out, can really make a difference. Making sure that if you do have those troublesome areas, maybe you put something around your tree. For example, I did have an issue here by the telephone pole, the support cable that mounts down. For whatever reason, it's the right angle or shape or whatever, that the iMow would get stuck up against this cable more times than I cared for. So yeah, it's a little simple, but it just put some blocks around it just to keep it from bumping into the cable. So as you design it out, you just got to think about that. Expect that if you're going to be bouncing off objects, there is a chance that it's going to bounce awkwardly, and it might cause that iMow to stop every once in a while on you. Some other thoughts, if you kind of can see in the image right now, some wheel tracks from the iMow. This is a totally different way of thinking about cutting your grass. You're not going to have those stripes that you've had with your regular lawnmower up and down, if you like that striped look. On the flip side, you're not going to have that shaggy look when the grass hasn't been cut for a number of days. So it's something to get used to. Again, it's not going to be for everybody. If you don't care for these wheel marks being in your lawn temporarily from the iMow driving through, robotic lawnmower might not be the thing for you. Again, very quiet. In terms of service, there's really nothing to service on here. There's a mower blade underneath the iMow. I can show that to you. There's the mower blade. With as much lawn as I'm cutting, I should probably be changing it more than I am. So far, I've been changing the blade about once a season, and that's been working out fine. Blades cost, depending on which model you have, blades can range from $20 to $30. Again, pretty minor investment compared to a traditional lawnmower. Here, we'll get it to bump in the tree maybe. Just gonna get by. Now the iMow does cut your grass for you automatically, but keep in mind it's not a completely hassle-free unit. You are gonna have to babysit a little bit here and there. And for example, if there's a power outage, the iMow functions based on there being power to the perimeter wire. So if you do have a power outage, if the iMow is out cutting, it's going to stop when there's a power outage and won't restart cutting until you actually go to it and activate it to cut. There are times too where it might just get stuck in a rut somewhere. I've had to fill in a couple spots on the lawn with ground. Actually, we'll be coming up on one soon here. Here's a spot that I had filled in with some ground. The dip was just a little too much for it, that the wheels would lose traction and slip. iMow will attempt to get out a little bit, but if it does get stuck, it will stop and wait for you to come and reactivate it to begin cutting. The iMow can't cut everything. I have some pretty steep ditches, and I still have to cut those with our regular lawnmower, mainly because of the water buildup. I mean, the iMow doesn't know where water is, so if you're gonna have standing water in your ditches, the iMow is not gonna be able to cut that. If you've got sandier soil and it drains really well, it could handle the ditch. Mine doesn't. But again, I'm fine with that. It's a reduction of the time I gotta spend cutting, and that works out good. There, it bumped off the tree. Another con with the iMow would be the tire tracks. You can see them a little bit in the mowing area. Where you can really see them is on the perimeter wire. There is a feature with the iMow to help reduce that, and it's called passage mode. So you can actually have the iMow ride off of the perimeter wire between 16 inches and 32 inches. Unfortunately, mine will not do that because I have too many narrow areas to make that work. So I do have, in a sense, a permanent track around the perimeter of our property. You can see the wheels here. Again, to me, I don't really care. I'm out in the country. I've got a large area here. It doesn't really bother me. However, if you're going to be, in the suburbs or a city lot, you may not like that appearance. So really, again, comes down to design. Let's design it so that there aren't any narrow passages, so you can run that passage mode out wide and reduce those tire tracks. Here, it's getting a good bit of bumping around here. If you don't want the iMow bumping into trees, you can put restricted wires around them, similar to the perimeter wire. That's what we've done with this tree here, so it won't actually bump into it. There, it touched the wire, so it didn't bump the tree, it just went to the wire and away it went. I mentioned earlier that my trimming time has been reduced greatly. Definitely has with so many trees. Around the house though, if you have concrete curbing or any type of curbing, landscaping, one disadvantage with the iMow is it's gonna leave about 4-inch gap of untrimmed grass, roughly that much, between your curbing or whatever obstacle that it can't ride on and the blade underneath. So that's definitely something you want to keep in mind, that there is trimming involved around the house with the iMow, unless it's designed. One thing people have been doing is putting flat pavers kind of level with the ground here to get it out so the wheel of the iMow can ride on the flat paver, catch all that grass, and then you don't have to worry about trimming around your curbscaping either. So again, just another item to consider if you're looking at an iMow, and maybe what some of the investment costs might be if you're looking to completely eliminate having to trim. Hopefully I helped answer some more questions about the iMow and robotic lawnmowers in general, and some of the pros and cons of having one. Definitely, if you've got any curiosity about them, check out our channel, and feel free to ask me any questions as well, and visit imowforyou.com.